means a lot to me. And I'm glad for it. We get a lot of good comments on our YouTube ministry, but we get a few degrading comments. Somebody sent them a comment the other night, had Jenna fighting mad.
Even I do good, evil's always good.
Yeah. They said they laughed at Christians because they were so foolish, wasn't it? And it probably does look foolish to those that ain't never tasted of it. You know, these comedians, they make fun of us preachers, and my goodness gracious, if they just taste of it.
Oh, yeah.
This taste of it. It means a lot to me. It changed my life. Acts chapter 27. If you want to turn over there. Verse 15. Hope everybody's minded the Lord tonight. I tell you, I come up here. I'm glad we got to have church.
Oh, yeah.
We had to cancel last Wednesday. Come up here and I said, well, there probably ain't gonna be 3 or 4 up there. Pulled on the hill, like I said, I was running late, about 7 o'clock when I got here, a couple of minutes before. I was proud. John, the leader of Tasha's group, we call it Tasha's group now. Me and him was talking after church. Sunday night, he said, you don't realize what you got here. Yeah, I said, yeah, I do too. I said, I know what you're saying, but God's given us a good place. And I thank God it takes us all working together. Church, we could come in here with envy and strife, but we come in one mind and one accord. That's what happened. The Bible said on the day of Pentecost, they was gathered together in one mind and one accord.
You're right.
And what's that mean? That means together.
You're right.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, I like to be in one mind. Don't you? It's peaceful.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Bible said that when the ship was caught, and Paul was with a group of men. He was taken captive for what he was preaching and teaching. And they was taking him to another place, and they was crossing the sea. It said when the ship was caught, could not bear up into the wind, we let her drive. More or less, we let her go.
Yep.
They had fought, and they had toiled, and Paul done warned them. He said, running under a certain island, which is called Clauda, we had much work to come by the boat. When they had taken up, they used helps undergirding the ship, fearing lest they should fall into the quicksands. Straight sail, and so were driven. We being exceedingly tossed with the tempest, the next day they lightened the ship. Folks, thanks, listen, that they can't give this up, they can't give that up.
Yeah.
But
Right.
when they listen, the Bible teaches us that the beginning of wisdom is to fear God.
You're right.
When folks fears and folks get serious, schedules ain't going to be quite so busy. Me and a preacher friend of mine was talking last night. He said, I just started praying, God, let me keep my mind off of those that, can't be motivated.
Yeah.
He said, and let me press. Schedules is going to get lighter. Folks is going to have more time for the Lord when they see the day at hand.
Oh, yeah.
But it's going to be too late. Listen to me.
You're right.
And said they lightened the ship.
Yep.
When folks gets on a ship or airplane, they take the bare necessities, just enough to get them by, so they think. And on the ships then, They would take just the bare necessities. But boys, when it come to when they thought they was going to lose their life, they started throwing out the bare necessities. And a lot of things wasn't important no more. Oh, they probably, when they got on the boat, they probably said, I'm taking this with me. I don't go nowhere, Sybil, without this.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe it's a keepsake that Mama give them or something. And this is my lucky shirt. This is something that means the world to me. But buddies, when they thought that they was going under, they started throwing it overboard.
Yep.
And said the third day we cast out with our own hands the tackling of the ship. My goodness gracious, Chase. Every ship needs tackling. And they needed that was stuff to keep the boat in order. And to do the job. Well, buddy, there was nothing important then. The third day had come, and the tackling wasn't even beneficiary. All they was worried about was staying afloat.
Yep, you're right.
And said in verse 20, and said, when neither sun nor stars in many days appeared. You think about that. Hadn't seen the sunlight, hadn't seen the stars, and said no small tempest lay on it. All they saw was waves and water coming up over. It said all hope that we should be saved was then taken away. Hadn't seen the stars, hadn't seen the sun, hadn't seen nothing but a storm. But after long abstinence, Paul stood forth in the midst of them and said, Sirs, ye should have hearkened unto me, not have loosed from Crete, and to have gained this harm and loss. Now I exhort you to be of good cheer, for there shall be no loss of any man's life among you, but of the ship. For there stood by me this night the angel of God, whose I am, and whom I serve, saying, Fear not, Paul, thou must be brought before Caesar, and lo, God hath given thee all them that sail with thee. Wherefore, sirs, be of good cheer, for I believe God, that it shall be even as it was told me. Howbeit, we must be cast upon a certain island. But when the 14th night was come, as we were driven up and down in Adria, about midnight the shipmen deemed that they drew near to some country, sounded and found it 20 fathoms. When they had gone a little farther, they sounded again and found it 15 fathoms. Fearing lest we should have fallen upon rocks, they cast 4 anchors out of the stern and wished for day. And as the shipmen were about to flee out of the ship, when they had let down the boat into the sea under collar, as though they would have cast anchors out of the foreship, Paul said to the centurion, to the soldiers, except these abide in the ship, ye cannot be saved.
Amen. You're right.
Amen. That'll preach any day of the week on it. If we don't stay in the ship, we cannot be saved. And I want to leave that thought with you. Got to stay with the ship. We can't worry about the tackling. Can't worry about this and that. They done threw it over the board.
Right.
Just stay in the ship. And if you'll go on and read that sometime, but that's a thought I don't want you to lose. If you stay in the ship, you can be saved. Corey, I want you